this is Miss Rash. In today's Nearpod, you've been watching me solve for the volume of these irregular shapes. Well, I wanted to make this video so I could show you each individual little tiny step that I'm taking, and you can know exactly what's going on in my brain when I solve one of these. So we're going to begin solving. First thing I need to do when solving this shape's volume is I need to split it into two different pieces, two different rectangular prisms, because we do know how to find the volume of those. Now you can see where I've split up this shape into two different rectangular prisms, and in order to keep track of these, I'm going to label them rectangular prism A and rectangular prism B. This just helps me in my brain keep track of everything. Now you can see that the one on the right is A and the one on the left is B. The next thing I like to do is kind of get in my brain what I do and do not know. So as you can see over here, I've made a space for A's length, the L, width, the W, and H, the height. And I've made a space for B's length, width, and height. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these in. First on my list is A's length. So I look at that rectangular prism A, and do I know its length yet? I do know its length. Its length is 7 inches, and that is found right here. This is the whole length of rectangular prism A. It's easy to get it confused with the total length, which is 9, but remember the total length has part of B in it as well, so we only want A. So 7 inches is our length for A. Now let's see what our width for A is. And it's really important to note, especially in 5th grade, that our width for these irregular shapes, it's always going to be the same. So whatever our width is for A is also going to be our width for B. Right here we can see that our width is 2 inches for rectangular prism A. This 2 inches also can be moved right here to rectangular prism B. So our width is 2 inches. Now let's see if we can find our height for rectangular prism A. Our height is 4 inches. Right here at rectangular prism A, we can see that it is 4 inches tall. Now we have all our dimensions for rectangular prism A. The length is 7 inches, the width is 2 inches, and the height is 4 inches. Now it's time to start finding out our dimensions for rectangular prism B. First, we're going to start with the length. As you can see, our length for rectangular prism B is not labeled. We just have this big long length around the bottom, but we already talked about how that includes both rectangular prisms. We can't use that for B, but we are going to have to use our critical thinking to figure out what our length is for B. To do that, we have to know that the total length minus A's length is going to give us B, because we have this big total, 9 inches for length, and then we've already cut off 7 of those. We know that this whole section over here is 7 inches long, so now we just need to know how much out of our 9 is left for rectangular prism B. Since our total is 9 inches, and rectangular prism A's length is 7 inches, we can do 9 inches minus 7 inches to get 2 inches. 2 inches is rectangular prism B's length. Now it's time to move on to rectangular prism B's width. Like I said earlier, the width is going to stay the same. So our 2 inches that is attached to rectangular prism A is the same 2 inches that's attached to rectangular prism B. If it helps you, you can draw this in so that you don't forget. I went ahead and drawed mine in, and I filled in the width for rectangular prism B. That's 2 inches. Now all we have left is our height. If we look over here at rectangular prism B, we do have our height labeled. It is 7 inches. That's how tall rectangular prism B is. Now we have all of our dimensions for both rectangular prism A and rectangular prism B. Now finding volume will be easy. Our next step in finding volume is finding out what's the volume of one of these shapes. So let's start with rectangular prism A. What's the volume of rectangular prism A? We know that our volume formula is length times width times height. So all we have to do is multiply those numbers in rectangular prism A's dimensions. Since we have all of these dimensions, I went ahead and plugged in our numbers. So our formula is length times width times height. Our length is 7 for rectangular prism A, our width is 2, and our height is 4. 7 times 2 times 4 equals 56. And remember, our units are inches. And anytime we're working with volume, it's going to be cubed. And that's what that little 3 at the top means. So our answer for the volume of rectangular prism A is 56 inches cubed. So now we have to find the volume of rectangular prism B. I went ahead and wrote down our formula and plugged in our numbers. The length times the width times the height. The length for rectangular prism B is 2. The width is also 2. The height is 7. 2 times 2 times 7 equals 28, and our units are inches cubed. So we found that our volume for rectangular prism A was 56. Our volume for rectangular prism B was 28. That's not our complete answer. We have to add them together so that we know what the entire volume is for the entire shape. Not just A and not just B, but the entire shape. So we add those two volumes together. 56 plus 28 equals 84. That's our volume for the entire shape. 84 inches cubed. Or you can also say 84 cubed inches. I just want you to know both ways that it might show up on a test. But that's how we solve the volume for the entire irregular shape. Thank you guys so much for your close attention. I know that this is a really tricky math topic. I'm very proud of you for all the work that you've been doing in math. And if you need to rewatch this video, rewatch it as many times as you need to. Pause it, write down what you need to write down, take notes, do whatever you need to do to help you understand this content. But I am super proud of the work that you guys have been doing.